Hi y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. You probably tell from the thumbnail. It's just going to be an update about my pup. History about everything. The video didn't go up on Saturday, so I'm sorry. But it took forever to get the one I wanted to go up filmed because of everything happening, and I haven't had a chance to edit it because it'll be a long time editing that one. And I didn't want a video not to go up again today, so I thought I'd do this to let everybody know. It started in November 2018. All the vets couldn't believe that it started with her waking me up, panting in my face. I took her out, she didn't do anything, and I just knew something was wrong. She had high calcium, like really high, and it makes her drink a lot of water, and they said most of the time, 3/4 of the time, a dog that has high calcium, it's cancer. So we were thinking it was cancer, and then it turns out her German Shepherd side made the vet think of one other thing it could be, so they did some tests about that, and it wasn't the cancer they were thinking it was, and she had hyperparathyroidism, so she had to have surgery. I think she had 2 removed, and that caused high calcium too. But her globulins and protein were high this whole time, and they treated it with stuff for like kidney issues, but they weren't going down. And then there was some sticky globulins, which is a sign of another cancer. So they did a test to see, and this was in June, so 7 months after all this started, and the test came back that it was the cancer, multiple myeloma, a rare cancer, and it affects your bone. They did a bone marrow test to be sure. So she had started chemo, and it was like a pill. They wanted her to be on it for at least a year, but after 9 months, her platelets, which are like your internal band-aid, were extremely low. They stopped the chemo because if it kept doing that to them, it could get to the point where they wouldn't come back up. They would stay at that low forever, so she wasn't able to stay on them. With chemo, the average lifespan was 1.5 years. Friday will be 3 years since she was diagnosed, so we got double that, so I'm very grateful for that. And she's been off chemo for 2 years and a couple of months too, so, or 2 years and some months too, so that's incredible. Her 6-month oncology, she has blood work every 3 months, and then every 6 months she gets blood work again, x-ray and ultrasound, just to check inside to make sure everything's okay too. And I told him about her hips, because like sometimes when she's eating, her back end will start sinking. She has trouble rising, just like her hips are causing her pain. They did x-rays for that area, and he brought in orthopedic. That's what I like about the university. Every practice is there and they can consult with each other. They did a test and it wasn't cancer related. It looked like a soft tissue injury or whatever. So he put her on, it's basically like an ibuprofen, but it's called something else. But also, her platelets were lower, not scary low, but lower. And her globulins had risen. They weren't raised as high as they were when this all started, but so he wanted to do a test, and if it's a specific test for multiple myeloma, and it came back that the thing that was elevated when she first got diagnosed was elevated in this one. He said in scientific terms it isn't elevated to the point where you would definitely, we could do a bone marrow to be 100%, or we could just go forth with a treatment. I know you can tell me 100%, but what is your gut telling you? Is it coming back? And because if he's pretty sure it's coming back, I'm not gonna put her through sedation again and all and about doing that to her bone marrow. He said with the platelets lowering and the globulins and then this test, his gut saying that she's coming out of remission. So she's coming out of remission, which is really sad. But and I asked him when this started, before I got the results, if it did come back, is it like the end of the world? Should I be? He said no, every time they come out it's harder to get them back into remission, but it's just the second time. So he's like, so whatever you were given the first time, like she got 3 years out of the first remission. He said I would give like half that. And she probably had it when this all started that November, because her globulins, like I said, were high then too. So he said he would do about half that. So the second time, I'd say 1.5 years to 2 years, which is still awesome, because she's 12 and a half now, so I want to get her full life. And I still cried. I mean, Because like I said there, and I think I've said in another clip, forever wouldn't, it'll just never be long enough. I want her forever. I'm gonna cry. And then, one other time when she got home from sedation, it was a few days before she was better, and this was the same. Like and it's always scary. But usually by that night, even though she's still kind of drunk, she'll eat. She wouldn't eat, and then the next morning she wouldn't eat. And so I probably got a little scared and snowballed this myself. I started her on chicken and rice just because I wanted her to eat. And then by Sunday I had her back to her regular food, which she wouldn't eat, so I mixed in pumpkin with it. But she was getting all these different things. And I waited till she was off of the sedation a little bit more before I gave her the ibuprofen that they gave her for her hips. So Tuesday was her appointment. I didn't start her medicine until Thursday morning. And her hips were acting better. But then the following Sunday she started, and this is where we're going to get to TMI if you don't like stuff like this. Her diarrhea, like stools, was getting worse, and she wouldn't even eat the food with the pumpkin. So Tuesday I started the chicken and rice again. I haven't gotten any sleep hardly this week because in the middle of the night she just kept having to go. And it's just a long time to have diarrhea. Like we were going like on the 5th or 6th day. And so I had my local vet call in an anti-diarrhea. And so I gave her, this past Friday. So she had eaten at 9:30, but I got the medicine, and then at 1:30 she had another diarrhea-like episode, so I gave it to her. And then I gave her the next dose of food at 5 o'clock. She's supposed to have 3 a day. And then at 9 o'clock, before she eats it, she usually eats at 9:30. And then at 9 o'clock, she regurgitated the food, and that's different from vomiting. Vomiting, you can see them dry heaving, and it comes from their stomach, like their digestive, whatever. But regurgitated, they don't dry heave or anything, it just comes out all of a sudden, and it looks like just like it did when it went in, like the chicken and rice looked like it hadn't even been chewed. And then she wouldn't eat after that at 9:30. And then Saturday morning, I woke up at 3:30 a.m. to her having diarrhea on the floor. And she's never done that. She couldn't hold it. And then about an hour and a half later, she went outside and did it again, and it was really dark brown. Not black, but dark brown, and like streaks of red. And that was the scariest looking ones. And my vet was too busy. My local vet is open till 12 on Saturdays. They were too busy to see her. So I called the university because they have emergency 24/7. And they put me through to the doctor who happened to be her doctor for oncology, which was good. He said, I think we just threw too many things have been thrown at her. Stop the anti-diarrhea medicine. No more medicines. Stop the chicken and rice. Put out, because I want her on her normal food. We just need to reset her GI tract. Put out her normal food for 24 hours. If she won't eat it, he gave me some recommendations for some wet food that would have to have a prescription. I knew she wasn't going to eat her dry food, so started trying to get the wet food. My vet didn't have it, and none of their other offices did. All the other vets were closed on Saturdays and Sundays. And only one PetSmart has it, and they're an hour and a half away. Chewy, my vet said they gave Chewy authorization, but Chewy said they didn't, so who knows when that would have shipped. And if I waited till Monday, that would have been going on day 3 of not eating. I'm going crazy. And I sent him pictures of the scariest looking diarrhea, and he said that is abnormal, but I'm not too concerned at this time. Just try, doing the thing with the food we talked about. And she still hasn't eaten in 24 hours, contact me. And so I messaged him. It's not easy to get an email all the time. So I emailed him Saturday night because I could not get the food. And PetSmart wouldn't give me that without a veterinary authorization either, and my vet wouldn't be able to Monday. And so Sunday morning, my husband called and talked to him, and that he got the phone number, and he called it into that PetSmart. And so I drove the hour and a half with her, and we went and got that and brought it back. So I waited until we were here, and she was settled down for a minute, and then I didn't want to give her too much food because it had been almost 48 hours since she had eaten anything, but she's been drinking water good. I gave her half a can, and she ate almost all of it, but she left some, and then that made me worried. But then an hour and a half later, she went and finished it off. And then at like 6 something, I gave her half a can, and then at 9:30, the other half of a can. And so I've been doing the half of the half, and she's been eating it all and really liking it. And she went 40 hours without any diarrhea or anything, so that was good. And then this morning, she's had bad gas, so that worries me. Like, she still has an upset tummy. But after 40 hours this morning, after the gas started, she went in, and it's still again, TMI, soft serve, but it's like the chocolate brown like it should be. It's a lot better looking than any of them have been. Hopefully it gets better soon. She had gas after that still, so hopefully, he did say when he said he called it in, if she's still not eating or starts vomiting, let me know. So now I'm all worried, like, what did you mean? Vomiting and not eating, or vomiting after she eats? So now I'm like, she gets this look on her face if she is, and so now I think I keep seeing it, and they're licking her lips or something, so now I'm nervous, and I'm just trying to hope she keeps this food down for at least 24 hours. Hopefully that would be a good sign. So at 2 o'clock, it's like 11 something, right? It's 10:30 right now. It'll be at 2 something, it'll be 24 hours. And later this week is supposed to be her first chemo, and I have to, like I said, I have to go there because they give it to her there. So I'm still gonna go because I want them to check her over anyway, but then I'm gonna ask while I'm there, while she's already there, and I can still check her. Should we wait to start it? Because he said that with that chemo you get sent home with an anti-diarrhea and an anti-nausea, because that chemo can cause that. And with her GI tract recovering, I don't know if that would be a good idea. But I don't want to cancel the appointment because I want them to see her and tell me everything's okay with everything else. So I haven't been getting much sleep, and since May 31st, that's good. And that's just what kills me, because before I took her, she was fine. I mean, I needed to know about the coming out of remission thing, but everything else, I just hate when she has to be put on sedation. So I don't know. If her blood work's okay, I don't know if I'll let them do that anymore. Because I can't handle it when she's like that, and I'm not getting any sleep on top of it. I can't stand to see her like that, and I'm a nervous wreck, and I'm like, my anxiety. But I'm happy she went 40 hours, because before, like Tuesday when I started taking her, so long as she had went, it was 22 hours. So, and then it was back to, so 40 hours is good, and this looks so much better. She's still acting a little weird to me, but my husband thinks she's acting normal. That's just me being me. I wanted to give you an update. I started with her painting in my face in 2018. And so she had hyperparathyroidism, got that taken care of, and it's full myeloma. But I'm so grateful to God for giving me the time that He has. I don't ever want to sound ungrateful, because they told us 1.5 years, and we got 3 years out of this first round, so I'm very thankful. Oh, and then she had her gallbladder out. It wasn't this past November, but the November before that, I think. I think where all the calcium buildup and all that stuff that the hyperparathyroidism had done. She had something on her gallbladder, and in the Midwest, that university just said to keep an eye on it. And then I guess they never treated it. It could have been treated before then, but then she had to have it removed, or it could have burst. So she had that out. It might make things harder on her stomach too, not having a gallbladder to help process stuff. But her diet is specific to, like, she doesn't get anything that, because she doesn't have a gallbladder to help her process the fat. So she doesn't get anything crazy. And I'm also, I know they're not going to do dental work at the University of Belle while they have her, if she'll let them look at her teeth, because I don't know, maybe she doesn't want her normal food because she has some teeth pain. Because when I go to the local vet next, I'm going to have them ask them what they can do for her teeth. And she just might not want her normal food anymore. Before this started, every once in a while, and she would only do it in the mornings. I'd put her food down, and she'd look at me like, I don't think so, and walk away. But then I learned when I stopped trying to get her to eat it, and I'd walk away and ignore her, and she'd see me not looking at her or caring, that she'd eat it. So she was starting to turn her nose up at it before, but only in the morning. That's my update. So, normal video for y'all Wednesday. Hope everybody's doing okay. Just send all your good thoughts and prayers my pup play. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.